Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're taking the time to join me. I am actually traveling, so you can see my background is different than where I normally am. I have a totally different setup. I just realized I wore a white jacket with a white wall. Go figure, right? But I'm in beautiful Florida today, just hanging out. I had some work to do here and decided to take some time and just work from Florida. It's awesome when you get to that point in owning a business where you can really just work from wherever you want. So that is what I'm here to help so many of you with, is learning how to just really take your life back. So my name is Evelyn Knight. I am a child care business coach and the host of the Child Care Business Coach podcast. I'm also a center owner, so I know what it's like to deal with the current climate. Hello everybody. I also love the interaction, so say hello in the chat. I would be happy to see that you're there and you're listening to me. I hope my connection is okay. I'm only showing one bar. Will you guys let me know how it is for you? I know we have a lot to do today. We are going into our recruiting boot camp. It's our creative recruiting boot camp. I am going to blow your mind later and really reteach you how to completely think differently about our current work climate and what is going on, how to recruit people and how to retain. So I'm going to make this session pretty short today since I'm going to have a lot of your time later today. But mindset is so very important, which is why I stick to it. I have to mention too, I keep looking in the camera and that thing right here, it looks kind of funny. That's my microphone, just so you guys know, because if I were watching this video, I would be looking like, what does she have on her shirt? It's a microphone. Just so I can kind of step away from you guys and you can still hear me okay. So hopefully it's working good. But yes, I love Mindset Monday too. It is key. I understand and know that mindset is one of the keys to success, right? For me, it is the key, and so many of you. I just spent last week a couple days with my business coach, and I like to call her my business guru, Kelly Roach. And I just realized like I so needed to be there with those women, with those business leaders, with my people, because my mindset had started faltering, right? And I just wasn't mentally in the place that I needed to be. And it really just got me thinking about this company. And I really just realized I really need to lean more into mindset than I already am, because that is the key. If your mind isn't where it needs to be, you're never going to be successful, right? 90% of everything we do is in our brain. If you haven't been following me for a while, you don't know, but I actually went on a journey where I've lost about double my body weight. Okay, once upon a time, I was literally double what I weigh today. And it's about 150 pounds that I've lost, okay? When I did it, I realized now, today, the person I stand today who's 150 pounds lighter, that 90% of my weight loss was in my head. It was my brain. It was my mindset. I was once a failing owner. I was once facing bankruptcy, right? I once had an eviction notice on my center's front door. And I realized all of that was my mindset. It was where I was mentally. Of course, there were skills I didn't have that I needed to acquire and learn, but my mindset was stuck in such a bad place that I didn't even know where to go to get those skills or how to achieve it, right? So I basically had to go back and just completely change my thinking. I went through a season, I was actually talking to a friend about this who needs to do some mindset work. And I was telling him how I literally intentionally went into brainwashing myself. Intentionally. I do have degrees in psychology and with an emphasis on neurological psychology. And so I know how the brain works. So when I set myself up for real lasting change, I told myself that I needed to completely brainwash myself. And that is literally what I set out to do. I set out to brainwash myself, and I just engulfed myself in so much information that would take me in the trajectory I wanted to be in, that I just changed how I think. I literally rewired my thinking. And that is something I help my clients with as well. But it starts with you. There is no magic pill. There is no magic pill. We all think there's that get rich quick scheme. There's that thing that's going to change everything all of a sudden, but there's not. It is within you. And you have to get to the point in your life where you decide, I am worth it. I am worth the work. I am worth prioritizing me, right? You have to know in your heart when you get to that point, and we all go through phases in life where we don't see our own worth, but you have to. You can never be a wonderful, great boss, a great mom, a great wife until you love yourself first. You guys know I'm a God girl. I was listening to Elevation Church yesterday, and I was just driving around Florida. I have to get my church time in. I'm kind of in a rural area, so decided just to listen to Elevation. And I don't know, God probably led me to his sermon. But one of the things he said yesterday that really struck with me is, if you are a Bible-believing person too, you know that God says, love your neighbors as you love yourself. Well, he gave us a totally different view on that. And he said, before you love your neighbors as you would love yourself, you have to love you. That means that you actually have to fall in love with yourself first. Because if you're somebody who's in a rut where you don't love yourself, but then you're treating your neighbors like that, that's not what we were instructed to do, right? So think about that. That was so profound to me. I'd never thought about it like that. Like, oh my gosh, you're right. If I don't love myself, how am I supposed to be loving my neighbors as Jesus commanded me to love myself, right? So huge. I don't know if I'm the only one. Let me know. Am I the only one who read that passage and thought like, oh, I just have to love everybody, and never equated the love myself portion? Or have any of you guys had that? Did I just blow some of your minds too by listening from what I heard yesterday? Where have you ever thought about that? That in order to love your neighbor, you have to love you first. So that's not even what I'm talking about today, though. I just know how important this mindset stuff is. So I want to actually go into something today that's going to be talking about what we're going to be doing all this week. For the next 5 days, I'm going to be leading you through my recruiting boot camp. And I'm going to set the foundation for you guys on how it is that I recruit. But before I do that, I have to change your mindset and how you see recruiting, right? I have to kind of reset your brain. So what we're going to do is talk about having a mindset of growth. And I want to challenge you today and ask you, are you actually implementing growth? Are you one of those people who's always the student, but you never actually do anything with it? You have all this knowledge in your brain, but it just stays stagnant and you really don't do anything. Or are you the person who does the amazing trainings, does all the work, and actually puts this into action, right? That is what I really want to challenge you today. As you're going through the recruiting boot camp, I know so many of you, we have over 300 people who have signed up for our recruiting boot camp this time around, which is our highest number ever. But I want to know I am not wasting your time, and I'm not wasting my time. Time is the most valuable asset we have. There is nothing more valuable. Money comes and goes. Think about how times where you've had money come and it just goes, but it comes back, right? It's this cycle. It flows constantly. But time is gone forever. There is no bringing it back. So that being said, I value my time greatly, and I want to make sure that your time and my time are used to the highest level. And that means that the things that I'll be teaching you this week, I want to make sure you're putting them into action. You can take the best trainings in the world, but if you're not acting on them, they're useless. They're absolutely useless. So I want to make sure that you really set in with a mindset of implementation. Okay, write that down. This week, I want you to write down an affirmation. I have my 3x5 card sitting here that I actually used during the conference I went to last week. As I was doing my conference, I just kept adding affirmations, and I wrote them in different colors. You guys can see they're just different color affirmations, right? So every time I got some new epiphany on something I needed to work on, I would write an affirmation. Okay, and I'll read them to you guys so you know what they are. And each one has a different color. This took place over a couple days, and I actually had it on a bigger piece of paper, and then I had to basically pick, okay, which ones am I really going to lean into? So what I want you to do today is I want you to write an affirmation for yourself and find something like this where you're going to see it every day. So what I did with my little card was I put it inside my laptop, right on my keyboard, so that every time I open my laptop, I have to read this, right? So a lot of times I'll put them on my bathroom mirror. So in the morning when I'm getting ready, I have to look at it, right? Again, being a God girl, I always have whatever verses I'm focusing on, always are going to be a Post-it note on my bathroom mirror. So I wake up focused on God every day. So whatever your focus is though, right? Whatever you choose to focus on. But if it's for business, your computer is a great place, somewhere you know you're going to go for your business, okay? So what I want you to do on that piece of paper, and of course you may not have available what you want to keep it on, but right now write down, I am someone who implements what I learn. Okay, or you can write down, I am implementing what I am putting into my mind, right? If you want to be like me and have more than one, you could say, I am going to show up every day for the Creative Recruiting Boot Camp, and I am implementing all of it. I am implementing what I learned. Okay, and every day before we do our boot camp, read it. When you're finished, and especially next week after the boot camp is over, you want to keep that card somewhere, your affirmation card, and you want to remind yourself that you are creating change, right? You don't want to say something like, I will, okay? It's not I will implement, it is I am implementing. I'm doing the work, right? I want it to be in the tense. I don't want to get into an English lesson, but I really want to look at how are you talking to your own brain. Okay, I'm not going to talk today about controlling your subconscious. We're not going to go into that, but I do want to help get there. And so I really want to talk about being more than just a student. It's time to step out of the student role. I mean, I will always be a student. I love learning. That's why I always have a business coach. I'm always reading books. I'm listening to podcasts. It's all I do. But if that's all I did, and I used it for nothing, then I wouldn't be in Florida right now, would I? The reason that you listen to me speak, the reason that I'm teaching this course is because not only have I been a student, but I have implemented what I've learned, right? And then I took that a step further and created a business so that I can bring it to you. I went to dinner the other night. It's been a great trip to Florida. I have a few clients here in Florida, so I've been actually meeting a few for dinner almost every night. It's been fun. And it was interesting. I was talking to one of my clients, and she asked me why I do this. Why do I love to serve childcare owners? And we were talking about the change I've made in her business and how much relief she feels since she's hired me. And she said, well, why do you do this? And I told her, I know what it feels like. When I met her, she was facing some really heavy things in her business, and she was exhausted, wanted to sell. I was an owner. When I went to my first business coach, I went to her and said, I just want help getting my center to a place where I can sell it because I don't want it anymore. I can't do this anymore. That was my mindset then. I just wanted to be out, right? But through the process of fixing my mindset and fixing my business, I fell in love with my center again. And when I did, it just changed everything. And I realized I want to do this for other owners. I want to bring that passion and that love back. I know what they feel. I know that awful feeling of just, it feels like you're an island and you're alone and there's nobody there for you. You feel like you're losing everything. Your hopes and your dreams are just going down the toilet. You feel like you're a failure, right? So many things. It makes you just, it's a horrible feeling. I've been there. I know. I've cried myself to sleep, not knowing. My poor children have memories of me crying, pulling over in the car because I couldn't drive anymore because I was crying so hard. I know that I have the knowledge to save owners from that. I've lived it. I've been there, done that, pulled myself out. So that's why I created these courses. That's why I do what I do. Because I know if I can save just one person from that pain, which I've saved many, more than one person, which you guys are going to hear from this week. I've saved more than one person from that pain, but it's all worth it if I could just save one person from that kind of pain. So imagine if I had just remained a student, right? I am now on a mission to touch 1 million children's lives by working with about 1,000 centers. Okay, that is my mission. I wouldn't have that mission if I had only been a student and I never implemented what I learned, right? So don't be a student. Write yourself an affirmation so you can create change in your life. Now, I told you guys I was going to read mine, so I'm going to read mine to you guys. But some of you guys, my team that's on here, Christina, you're going to love this one. The number one affirmation I have is, I will love managing my money, right? I know how to read my reports and all the financial things that we do in a business. And you have to, as an owner, you have to know this stuff. You have to. Nobody cares about your money like you do, right? But I don't love it. I actually hate it. It feels like, I mean, I would rather go to the dentist, right, than I would love my money. So first affirmation is, I am going to love. No, I'm not going to. I do love managing my money, right? I love managing my money. That's what I'm going to keep telling myself until I believe it and until it's a part of my brain. I have done a wonderful job stepping into my role of CEO. It's the next thing. Don't always like being the CEO of my companies. I like being the visionary, but I need to do a better job of being the CEO. So that is my second one. I grow every day. I am aligning my teams. My purpose is worth the time and working for. That's one that all of us could use. What is your purpose, right? That is one that every single one of us should have, right? My purpose is worth working for. That is huge. All of us should have that one. But sometimes we forget those little things that it's like, yes, of course our purpose is worth it. But sometimes we forget. And when we do, we get derailed and we quit. That is when we quit. But when you stay laser focused on that purpose, you will persevere. I promise. It has gotten me through the toughest times of my life. Yet I still found myself in a season where I was forgetting about that. I was forgetting my purpose. Why am I here? That overarching, what difference I can make for the children, right? So I encourage that is a good one, isn't it? I encourage everybody, put that one on with your affirmation that you will not only be a student, right? But you're going to implement. Add that one to your affirmations because it is a wonderful one. But this week, again, lean into being an implementer. You're not just a student. Tell yourself, I'm not just a student, I am an implementer. I will implement everything I learn, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. I want you to think of all the courses that you've paid for over the years. All of those wonderful, amazing courses. How many times have you gone through your files or whatever and you picked up, I actually have mine out right now from the course I did last week, right? You pick up these things, right? These are the slide notes that we got. And you just kind of thumb through them and you look and like, wow, that's right. I learned about this. It was amazing what they taught us. Oh my gosh, but I never did anything with it. I have to do something with this. I'm going to put it right here so it's in my face every day and I'm going to implement it. Then day after day after days go by, goes back into the files. 2 years later, you find it again, pick it up again. Man, that was a great course, but I hardly remember any of it now. And I wish I would have done something with this. I could have really made some changes if I had just done something with this. Oh, well, it's too late now. It's going in the garbage. How many of you have done that? Taken that training and it was amazing and you felt on fire when you left. But that training just ends up in the garbage, right? That is just being a student and not an implementer. You are an implementer. Say the words, I am an implementer, not just a student. That way you can actually see the change. That way what I teach this week isn't a waste of your time, right? The other thing that's going to happen on that is you're really going to start up-leveling the types of trainings that you take. Early childhood education, this is something I talked to my coach about this week. We are flooded with awful training. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We are flooded with awful training. Moira, you can attest to this. You're in there right now. I mean, as an ECE person, we have our, here in Nevada, well, I'm not here in Nevada, but in Nevada, we have to do 24 hours worth of training a year. We're just rushing through to get those 24 hours, right? I know full well I can set up for a course, do it in 20 to 30 minutes, get my 2 hours, and I get nothing out of it. I'm literally just checking a box. But is that good for me? No, it's awful for me. There is a lot of very poor quality training in early childhood education. The other thing I was talking to my coach about is that our industry is so conditioned to this cheap training that when we have these really high level, high quality trainings, we don't want to invest in them because we're so used to so many. We are flooded with cheap, horrible trainings, right? And then we wonder why our teams aren't changing. Then we wonder why we still have the struggles, why we personally aren't leveling up and changing. Because we don't see what the commitment is really worth, right? We don't see and really lean in to quality. And then we wonder why we are not recognized as professionals, right? We've done it to ourselves. So it was something I was discussing with her, and she basically said, well, Evelyn, your industry needs a mindset shift. I'm like, perfect, because that's what I do. I'm here to change your mind and give you a mindset shift. Now, I do a lot of free trainings because I have such a passion for ECE, and I do want to up-level you. I want to change how I am on a mission to create a revolution in early childhood education, right? We are creating a revolution. I want to touch at least 1 million children's lives. If I'm going to do that, I have to disrupt this industry, and I have to create a revolution. And so I bring you free trainings that are extremely high quality, right? Much higher quality than what you're paying for out there. But again, it is useless if you're not implementing. Absolutely useless. Later this week, I'll go into a little bit more about my method on how I make sure my people are implementing. You guys will see how I teach and how it is different than what you're going to be used to, because I want to make sure that the work I am putting into creating these trainings is going out into the ECE world. I want to see change. I want to be a driver of change. That is my mission and my goal, which I need you to implement, right? So when I bring you the training on creative recruiting this week, I want to see you go and do the work. We are at an amazing time in history, and I really encourage you guys. I just released a couple of podcast episodes. You've got to listen to them. They go along with this training. If one of my team members could actually drop the link in the chat, that would be great. Listen to them, because I'm not going to waste your time talking about them on these videos, but you can listen to them. I'm on everything: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Alexa, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. I'm on all of it. Google Podcasts. So whatever you guys have, the Child Care Business Coach Podcast with Evelyn Knight. I talk about the opportunity that we have as ECE leaders and with this Great Resignation. I am excited about the Great Resignation. We are at a forefront of a revolution in the United States. We're definitely in the middle of a cultural shift, right? Our entire culture is thinking. We as ECE leaders are prime to lean in and take advantage of this right now. But we have to lean in and take advantage. And that is exactly what I'm going to be teaching you in the boot camp today. I'm really going to focus on this mindset shift that we need to have collectively as an industry so we can be on top. I know what every one of you are thinking. You're thinking, I cannot pay enough. I just can't afford the salaries. But what we need to understand is this revolution is not about money. It is not about money. People are prioritizing quality of life over money. And we can give them that quality. They want a mission. They want to up-level their lives. And that's what we can do for them, right? So if we're in an opportunity where we can give them that amazing mission, we need to jump on it now. We are in the forefront of history where we can become the industry leader when it comes to recruiting. But we have to step into that role collectively. And that's what I'll be teaching you guys all week this week. So I hope you guys can join me in a couple hours. I know we will be on at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then we also have a replay. We're doing it a little bit differently than any other boot camp that we've ever done this time. What we're doing is you'll get the live version, the first at 1 p.m. And then all of us are going to be in the chat, including me, again at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to be interacting with you. It'll be a replay. So the second time around, when you guys see the video, that's going to be a replay of the same video earlier. We just want to make sure we're giving more leaders the opportunity. I know time zone wise, it's so hard. No, I'm used to, like, the first half of this series I'm going to be in Eastern time, the second half I'll be in Pacific time. So I know we're trying to cater to both time zones here and really just give the opportunity for more of you to be able to interact with us, because the interaction is where it's at. You'll always be able to watch the recordings. Those will be up, so if both time slots don't work. But be sure to join us, because we'll be able to answer your questions live. And my team's on there. If you don't have a concierge yet for this series, make sure you get your concierge. Make sure you join us at 1 p.m. Pacific time every day, or 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is also 4 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern time every day this week. And again, it's one time a day that you need to join, right? And make sure that you're connected with your concierge. If you don't have a concierge, let us know. If you're one of my members, your advisor is your concierge, so don't worry about it. And get your workbook, okay? Get your workbook. I put this workbook together for this week in order to enhance your learning and to make sure that you go out and implement what we're teaching. It's the most important thing to do. So we look forward to seeing you guys later. If you have any questions, reach out to your concierge or your advisor. We're happy to answer your questions. The advisors will get me the questions. When I'm doing these things, my inbox gets flooded. So make sure any questions go to your advisor or your concierge. They will make sure to filter the questions to me. They just organize it so that I can go through all of them and answer, because a lot of times it's the same question. So I don't, instead of repeating myself, I'll answer the same question. So I hope everybody can join us. And remember, write your affirmation down. I am an implementer, not just a student, right? So I will see everybody later today. Have a great rest of, well, no, we will see you later. So don't have a great rest of your day. Have a great couple hours. Bye, everybody.